Hi, everybody. This is Stefan at the Pleiadian Institute in Geneva. I am together with Dan today, and for this meditation, there is not so much of an introduction because we will let love do the work. That's how it goes today. And so, Dan, can you hear me? Yes, you can. Okay, perfect. So we will get straight to it today. Not much to say ahead of the meditation. We'll just focus on the breathing as we usually do, and also make sure that we are centered on ourselves first, and then you will feel the connection with others around you, the people in your consciousness, everything that's in your awareness, and we will start building up this relationship with love and with everything in your relationships and in your consciousness.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Take a moment, center yourself in your body, center yourself in your breath. Remember that there is everything that's in your awareness. There is the self that is aware of everything around it. And there is the I of you, the high self that exists independent of all the experience of the self and everything in our awareness. And behind that is love, a universe of love. And that intelligent life that we call love is willing to relate, eager to relate, able to relate on the most intimate and tiniest level. You behind me, you'll hear a bird chirping. That bird has an intimate, integrated relationship to love, the whole thing. The only creature that does not have this intimate relationship, consciously exercising it, is us, humanity. And it's not a problem, except that we need it. It's not wrong because we have to grow to it. We didn't do anything wrong. We're all doing just great. But we've come to the place where it's now possible and necessary, because no one, not a group, not a quorum, not 10 of us, not Elon Musk with all his genius, can understand and comprehend the nature of the group experience that we're sharing. And this, the pandemic is expressing to us. It's just too big. So we need something bigger. Love is that thing that's bigger. And its miracle is that if you hold it in your awareness as a presence for you to contact, it's there. Everyone in humanity can do it. So let's take a moment to build that triad in our consciousness. Everything in your awareness, you, and at the top of the triangle, love, however you choose to see it. Because however you imagine it, it is behind and coming through that symbol. If it's the symbol of the sun, that's great. If it's the symbol of a rose, that's great. If it's the symbol of some favored teacher or spiritual figure or guru or the Buddha or the Christ, that's great. But remember, it is love behind that we are reaching towards, that we are surrendering ourselves to a relationship with, and not trying to take into ourselves and separate it from love, because that cannot be.
And then one question we can ask towards this symbol is, how do you feel towards it? Does it has a shape, a smell, maybe a feeling that's attached to it? And is there a color that comes to us when we look at this symbol? Is there maybe a situation that comes up to us? What do we imagine when we see this symbol for love?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. Because the reality of love expressing itself towards our senses as we reach towards it is infinite. Its bandwidth is infinite. Its possibilities of color and shape and light and tangibility is infinite. It has every quality that we have ever experienced in our senses and more. So that's going to be a delightful and changeable experience, but it is the one that is direct sensory contact. Remember, if we cannot sense a thing, we can't really know it. It's through the senses that we will know love. So our imagination of it is a projection from us, and we need to realize that. Because if we realize that our projection is not the reality, then we are free to let it lessen or lighten up so that the reality itself can begin to come through it. It's right there with it, and it's touching us and reaching us in a presence, but the visual and audible and tangible qualities of love will grow into us as we hold that triad with us. So now we should have a good sense of the outflowing, radiant point of love in our triangle and letting it touch us, letting it come into your emotional body. You'll feel the tingling and sensation of stimulation because we're not responding emotionally to something that we see in the world, which is stimulation from our own root, but we're actually reaching out to have a sensory experience with something touching us, something far greater, something far larger. Same thing with the mental body, which while in us it has less sensory appreciation, that's only because we have not unfolded it. We're going to let the sensory appreciation of the mind grow as we learn how to let love touch us with its intuitive mind, which is the mind of the universe. As we let that in, we then have a sense of physicality, because in the end, love provides the transforming and transmuting substance that changes matter into a love responsive body of light. This is the transmutational process that is described by resurrection. It is the influence of love on the atoms of matter that raise its vibration to light. So all of these processes, physically, emotionally, and mentally, will come with the relationship. They're not things that we're going to do inside ourselves because we're smart and we know how. They're things that love, in its loving of us, will guide us through. Relationship is everything in this process. There are other processes. Stefan and I are not following those. I have done countless other processes in my life. We can talk about them all day. That's not our focus. Our focus here is at the beginning of something really simple, a living relationship to something really grand. Now take time. Go ahead, Stefan. Sorry.
It's really about opening a door to a new relationship. It's welcoming something new in your awareness and seeing it growing. So once we've opened the door, we can see how it feels. We can start trusting it. We can start inviting it and getting used to it. And then we see and we feel how it transforms our life every day. We see this energy pouring into our awareness, into our daily life, even into our physical body. And we start to get energized by it. And that feels really good, actually.
It starts to come, and I told Stefan it's like following a game trail in the woods, because I grew up in Alaska and the wilderness, and at first you just barely see the track that you're following, and you may need it because it may be taking you down the side of a mountain, and you only see this and that, a broken this, a little bit of worn spot, but pretty soon your eye starts to train itself to see. And after a while, it's obvious to you, like an Indian tracker it looks like a herd of buffalo went through, and we don't even see a bent blade of grass. Love is like that. It's growing in us moment to moment. And the other thing it's kind of like that'll give you an idea is if you had a house full of plastic plants, they can be really beautiful. They make some incredible looking silk plants now. And from a distance, you'd swear they're real. But if you replace all those with living plants, all of a sudden the environment changes. And this is what love does. Our idea of love in our personality is as artificial as those plastic plants, because it's our creation in response to thinking about love. Love could never separate itself to become our personal property. It must be nourished, watered, grown, loved, exchanged. So we are growing it. We're growing it into our life. And its livingness is so enormously grander and larger than anything that we thought about it, that you'll be throwing out the plastic plants and your ideas of love quickly when you begin to realize the gift that is easy to obtain. All you have to do is put it in your awareness, keep it in your awareness, and let it nourish you and everything else in your awareness, and it becomes your go-to friend to serve everything in your life, because it's faithful, flawless, and ever love.
And then for the people who listen to us, how does this relate to our idea or our concept of the soul?
Okay, I kind of almost avoid the subject, and I apologize for that, because you're right. It needs to be discussed, because our concepts in the world of soul are so diverse that we don't want an argument. And because love doesn't argue, it just loves. So I wish to put this perspective in us. Nothing in the eternal comes to you. No voice, no teacher, not love itself, except that it comes through your own higher self, your own I identity that lives in that eternalness that love has already taken ownership of. Love owns the universe. The place where it's not obvious is in the material world, where love is in the process through us of transforming and transmuting it into a love-based expression, as it already has done in higher kingdoms, angelic kingdoms, soul kingdoms. So think of the higher self, the soul, as a presence of you, your presence in that kingdom. And love through it reaches you. You don't need to worry about its identity, because all you will do is cast your own ego identity towards the soul and try to shape it into what you believe it to be, or want it to be, or think you need it to be, when it, like love, has its own reality and cannot modify itself to suit our idea. So let it be there like love. Let it be present to you, because it is you. It's creating, sustaining, and maintaining you constantly throughout your life. And we have simply lost contact with that awareness in us because of the nature of matter. It's not a fault. It's not a problem. It's not anything we did wrong. It's difficult to see into that level of existence. And I don't want that to be something that is imposed upon your thinking while we're relating to love. Love doesn't require that we know anything about that. The soul's not going anywhere. The soul's not going to abandon you. It's going to be real and grow and strengthen as love works with you, and you mold your life towards the higher vibrational experience of the soul. So it's not a concern. And there are many who don't want the soul to exist because it conflicts with their concept of reality. This is a challenge in the Buddhist consciousness. I don't want to conflict with that, because it doesn't. It does not. Love does not conflict with any of the teachings of great teachers. They all were giving their point of view about love and reality. So free yourself from all of that and let it become as it really is as we grow a relationship to love, and the strength of that will pour into your vessel. Remember, love is transforming us and transmuting us simultaneously as we allow it. And when that reaches a certain level of vibrational freedom, all of that will become obvious. All of that will become visible. And we will shed the ancient skin of reactive consciousness, and the freedom will be so utterly breathtaking, we won't, for a few moments, even know what to do with that much freedom, that much beauty, that much love. That doesn't answer your question, but that's the direction I'd like to see the attention go.
Yes, we always go back to this simplicity of connecting with this new relationship and allowing this new relationship enter in our life.
Go back to it now. Refresh. This is like one of those old computer systems that drove us crazy, where you have to constantly refresh it, or it will junk up or get lost or lose its page. You have to refresh love in your awareness constantly, because you have something in you that overrides it and sweeps it out of awareness. And when it sweeps it out of awareness, it goes into a silent mode. And that silent mode is supportive, but it is not the creative power that a human needs to solve this world group problem. So refresh it back, put it back in there, and it'll always look a little different. It should look a little different. It should be a little energetically different. It should feel different when you put it back. Every loss of love in your awareness and the refreshing of it back into your consciousness strengthens it. It's not a mistake. You're not failing. You didn't do anything wrong. It strengthens your desire for it. Every time you want a cigarette because you quit, and I've been through that myself, I know how hard that can be. Every time you say, no, I'm not going to have that, you put the freedom of it back in your awareness, and it strengthens you until eventually your desire for it goes away completely and you don't think about it anymore. Love is the opposite of that. We're building it in every time we remember it. We're feeding it suddenly to everything we love and care about. And as the more we do it, the more we realize how effective it is. And when your critical mind is saying, yeah, Stefan doesn't know what he's talking about, this is all wrong. When your critical mind does that sort of thing, you go, wait a minute. And you go back to putting love in your triad. And all of a sudden, the critical mind calms down, goes quiet, and you let love address the question. And it just stops the conversation and starts feeding it something other than criticism. And then you realize this is a good remedy. This could work. This takes the sourness out of our own nature and stops the gossip. It stops the nonsense. And so we find that we begin to like it, and then we begin to strengthen it more, and pretty soon it becomes our habit.
Then maybe we take a short moment to practice together again, to re-practice it, of course, and then we will wrap it up.
It's early days in this process, but Stefan and I are holding our own triads, and we're merging our agreement with a relationship to love. The beauty of love is everyone on earth can sit down, regardless of their philosophies or beliefs, and enter into the agreement of relating directly to the love that sustains the universe. So let's do that. Merge your talisman of love with ours. Your triangle is different because you have an individuality different than mine and Stefan's. And everything in your awareness that you're nourishing with this love is other than what we're thinking about, aware of. But we've intensified the power of love to flow through you, to reach those things you care about. This is a group relationship to love. And when enough people are doing this, world transformation is inevitable through love, unimaginably beautiful, incredibly inclusive, far beyond our personal vision, and we are glad that it is. Love is the lungs of the world. It gives hope. It gives incredible energy to circulate through everyone who has fear in their heart. There is nothing to fear in the presence of love.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you, everybody, for your time. And we see each other at the next video.
Thanks, Stefan.